What's up, everyone? Welcome to the final edition of Monthly Check-In for 2025. It is December, and this is going to be the final edition for this year. And this one is going to be more kind of relaxed, not really any type of topic today. I'm just kind of going to be doing a year in review for myself, what I learned this year, but also what I'm looking forward to moving into 2026. But first, let's get into my 3 monthly picks, 3 tracks I feel like you guys should be checking out to end the year. My first choice this month is a project that dropped in late October by producer Jansport J and artist AJ Snow, who I had on the podcast a couple years back, or actually about a year ago at this point. It seems like longer. But they did a third album called God Don't Like Ugly. So I'm highlighting the title track, but this album overall is once again a stellar effort from these two. I've always said, and I told AJ this on the podcast, that his sound and Jansport's production style definitely complement each other very well. And it was no different on this one. Great project. I think for each project they've done, it's been about 10 songs. So it's not like a super long listen. And this one's no different. I think it's probably clocks in around 20 or so minutes. So it's a nice, easy listening experience. It's definitely music you want to play in the car. Summertime in the Benz, which was the first single. I really enjoyed that one. Formula One is another track that I've been replaying a lot. But there's nothing, super out of the ordinary with this one as far as the sound and style goes from both of these people. And I'm just such a big fan of AJ's rhyming abilities and just the way he's able to float over the type of production that Jansport has been giving him. So yeah, this one is no different. Their third album, like I said, it's called God Don't Like Ugly, and it's out now on all platforms, so definitely go give that one a look. Next up, we have another producer and artist collab album. This one is called Welcome Home, and it's by North Carolina-based artist Ruben Vincent and the legendary producer Ninth Wonder. They had been teasing this album for well over a year. They actually put out a mixtape earlier this year that I was a super big fan of, and they finally put out this project. The song that I'm highlighting is called In My Life, and it's toward the end of the album. I'm not sure, I can't remember if it's the outro, but I feel like it's either the outro or it's like the second to last song on this thing. I really enjoy this album though overall because they were able to kind of dive into a little bit of different sound styles. Even for Ninth Wonder, I felt like he gave a lot of production to Ruben that was definitely more unique. And there's a lot of features on this thing too. There's a lot of different styles. Raheem Devon has a song on there, or he's featured on a song called Dre and Sydney, which I really enjoy, that also has Sweta, who I've highlighted on this segment before. So there's just a lot of different sides to the stories that Ruben is telling on this. And the overall theme, I think, is him coming back to North Carolina and almost like having a reinvention, almost starting over, but starting with a lot more wisdom and a lot more knowledge. And I think it's something that I can definitely relate to as far as where I'm at in my journey. So I feel like it's very relevant to where I'm at, and I think that's why I enjoy this album a lot. And there's different layers to the different types of songs and stories he's telling overall in this project. So I think it was definitely well worth the wait. I'm excited to see if Ninth Wonder and Ruben continue to work together because they are, from the same area, and they've been kind of working together off and on for the last 10 years. I'm definitely intrigued to see, where it leads. And it's also very cool to see an older producer, someone who's considered, a legend, working with someone who's a lot younger. I think Ruben is only like 23. So he's a much younger, but, a very incredible lyricist. And I think that's great to see when, older producers can kind of come in and work with the younger people and still make incredible music. So definitely go check this out. It's called Welcome Home, the album, by Ruben Vincent and Ninth Wonder. Finally, we have a surprise release from one of my personal favorite singers, Alina Baraz. she actually put out a 2-pack with producer Galimatias, who she worked on Urban Flora with back in 2015. Urban Flora was like her launching point into stardom almost. And it was with producer Galimatias. So they did kind of an ode to that album 10 years later by releasing a couple tracks in late October or mid-October, somewhere in there. The track that I like the most is More to Life. The other one's called Blue. They're both great tracks. I think More to Life is pretty cool. It's definitely, you could tell it's almost an extension of the sound that Urban Flora created, because I felt like Urban Flora overall was more Alina trying to find her voice as a singer. You know, she had a lot of Amy Winehouse influences on that project, vocally and in the writing. This feels like an extension of the sound that the two of them created, but it also feels like it's kind of updated. So I want to say these aren't 10-year-old songs. I want to say these are probably newer tracks within the last year or so. And I know Alina is also working on her much anticipated second album, which is going to be the follow-up to her album that came out in 2020. It Was Divine, which is one of my favorite projects. But yeah, these two tracks definitely feel like they're more of like a revised version of their collaborations between her and Galimatias. So definitely go check this out. I mean, if you're into R&B, I love the way that Alina is able to mix different styles of R&B with electronic, and kind of just make her own sound. I think she's one of the best artists out there doing that. It's just a shame that she hasn't been putting out more music, because these were her first couple of songs in probably almost 2 years at this point. She didn't put out anything, I don't think, in 2024, and she hadn't put out anything this year yet until now. But this is a great starting point to get people ready for whatever and whenever the next album comes. So definitely check this out. Alina Baraz and Galimatias. The track is called More to Life. The other track is called Blue. Definitely give those a listen. So today I kind of just want to give you guys a little bit of, how I'm feeling as the year comes to an end, what I've learned, and where I think I'm headed in 2026. This year has overall been, I don't want to say a roller coaster. It really hasn't been super crazy, but there has been a lot of changes, especially in the second half of the year. For me personally, even outside of creativity, I feel like on the creative side, I've had such a great year as far as being able to continue to stay consistent, but have a lot of opportunities to release a lot of great music. I feel like I have probably released the most amount of music that I've ever put out by myself mostly. I produced for several artists this year, and I was featured on some different projects. But overall, this year was like the first time that I felt like I focused on myself and putting out these albums that I put out. I put out 2 full albums. I was on a lot of different compilations for lo-fi and instrumental labels. Did collaborations with people like Sesflow, Strappa. Put out a lot of cool tracks there. And I've been working on a lot more music to put out next year. But I think as far as, where I'm at in life in general, it's almost, I don't want to say it's a crossroads, but it's definitely a beginning of a new chapter for me at this time. Around July of this year is kind of where a lot of things started to change. I went through a breakup with someone I had been in a relationship with for about 3.5 years. So that was obviously very difficult and still is difficult. That's something that I have been trying to work through and kind of figure out what is the next steps there, especially since, me and this individual kind of ended on good terms. And I feel like we still have love for one another. It's just, I feel like the way we have to show that love moving forward is a lot different now. And I'm not really sure what is next for that relationship in general. I just know it will probably never be the same as it was before, and that has been difficult to kind of grapple with, but I feel like I've taken that energy and tried to apply it to the creation of the next batch of music that I'm putting out soon. I also had a close family member pass away around the same time, and really, again, I think I just wanted to try something new from all this energy that was coming my way. I don't even want to call it negative energy. It was just more of the low frequency energies. But I feel like I've also been able to reflect on like how much I've grown as a person over the years, and I feel almost proud of myself for the way that I've been able to handle these obstacles that have been there. And I'm not gonna sit here and say every day's been super easy. I mean, there's been tears shed. There's been a lot of days where I don't feel like doing anything. Especially as the year has gone on, the days are getting shorter, getting colder outside. That becomes harder on you to do your best every single day. But I feel like I'm trying to stay in the moment. I'm trying to channel the right type of frequencies and the right type of energies into what I'm doing. And I guess as a preview for what is next, what ended up coming out of that is a album that I can't really give a lot of details on currently, but it's gonna be an album that has artists featured on it. So it's a compilation album. I'm aiming for 10 to 12 songs. Currently, at the time of this recording, I have 9 songs done for this album, with a few more about to be done. So I am very close to getting this album completed. So the goal is to get the music done, mix and master it, and then start moving forward with all the content ideas that I have for it. So we will see. I don't want to say it's going to be out in 2026. I think a lot of 2026 is going to be the behind the scenes crafting it and getting those little details, the finite details sorted out. But you can definitely be on the lookout for that. Probably around this time next year, hopefully we're going to be rolling that out, like beginning the rollout for that. But it has been such a great experience because I've been able to work with some people that I never thought I would ever work with. There's some big artists on this thing. There's people that I have been connected with for years that I finally got to work with. And there's a couple of familiar faces too, people that I've already worked with. So it's kind of a big collection of energies and just amazing talent on this thing. And it's not gonna be super long. Like I said, I'm aiming for like 12 songs. But I think the message of it and the purpose behind the project is going to hit home with a lot of people. And it's something that I am actively feeling every single day. So yeah, I mean, that is pretty much what I am putting all of my energy into at this point. It's almost like a passion project. I don't want to say this album is going to be groundbreaking or it's going to change anybody's lives. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it inspires you when it does drop. But you know, it's just something that I'm doing out of pure love. I think I've done a lot of projects and things always out of love, but I feel like they're always calculated to some degree. This one, I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants. I'm just running with the vibe that I'm catching and seeing what it can turn out to be. So we will see what becomes of that when the time comes to actually start putting that thing out. Other than that though, you can expect another instrumental album from me next summer. That one, I'm gonna say the title now, so I'll give you that one. It's called Mural of a Sober Introvert. And I love the title, so I can't help but smile when I think about the title, because this instrumental album in particular is kind of just a reflection of myself. I feel like the last few instrumental albums were just themes that I ran with, or they were almost reflections of other things. While they were still my sound, they weren't really reflections of like me and the story. This one is definitely about myself. And that name is just, that's me. Like, I am a sober introvert. That's been my whole life. And what are the challenges that come with that? You know, what are the different things that can kind of keep you from making friends or being in certain circles or things like that? That's kind of the whole purpose behind this thing. So I wanted to create music that kind of represented that whole idea. So I'm excited to start rolling that out. The first single will be dropping within the first couple months of 2026. So definitely be on the lookout. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot more music than that even dropping. hopefully can land on more compilations, hopefully can do more collabs with producers and other artists, and there's some more exciting collabs with artists in the works too, which I won't get super into today. But that is pretty much how I'm feeling as the year comes to an end. I think it's been, you know, another up and down year, but I'm trying to look at it in the right light, which is something, like I said earlier, I look back at how far I've come as a person. I don't think I could have done that 10 years ago. I think I would have only been focusing on a negative side of what was happening. But if you can somehow look at it in a good light and in a positive light, there is growth to be done. And I think it helps you moving forward to whatever comes next for you. And really, I'm just hoping that the next chapter for me is gonna be one that continues to push me forward and get me out of my comfort zone, but also one that makes all this whole process worth it. So that's really what I'm hoping for. And finally, I have to say to you guys, thank you all for your support this year. Whether you listened to one of my songs, or you bought a vinyl, or you watched one of these videos, whatever you did to support, I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And again, I'm just gonna keep cranking out content for you guys, whether it's music or videos, visualizers, podcasts, whatever it might be. You know, I'm just gonna continue on and seeing where this thing leads, because you know, you just never know until you, or if you give up, you never know. Like I always say that if you give up, you're never gonna know where things are gonna lead. And I'm definitely nowhere in a position where I feel like giving up. I am excited to keep going and excited to see what the future holds. And for all of you guys, thanks for tuning in to these monthly check-ins this year. I hope you have a great holiday season, New Year's, and we will see you in 2026 to kick off a brand new, fresh year. So we'll see you then, guys. And thanks again for watching.